welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds in association with Take Your Time. My name is Mo Stewart, and once again, Mr. Rob Gutman has gone AWOL. This time he's not puking out of both ends. He's actually just gone to Paris to sample the ambiance and maybe pay, half of my mortgage to get a ticket. So in his place, we've decided to go big on our guest replacement.
Go big or go home.
Well, that's the only thing we can do, really. You've got to go big or go home. So I'm delighted to announce that I am joined by multi-platinum recording artist, Mr. George Ezra.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. That's the third time now in a week that someone said I look like George Ezra.
Well, there's a reason for that.
He's a handsome fella. Let's not take anything away from Ezra.
Okay, we're stretching it a little bit now. Okay, for those of you who are genuinely unaware, this man is Mr. James Sutton, star of stage and screen, and also, since I last saw you, newly married.
Newly married.
So congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
So you and I are both sitting here rather than being in Paris, but we are both very excited about this game coming up.
Very much so.
What are your feelings on exactly how we're going to approach this game?
I think both teams approach this game in a very, very similar way. I don't think there's a home or an away advantage particularly. It's two very attack-minded teams, two actually quite similarly matched teams up front. I think I said to you before. I think our front three and their front three are quite interchangeable. There's a lot of players that could fit into either setup there. This game's won in defence.
Yes.
This game is won in defence. Whoever has the best defence, and let's face it,
I think that's us right now.
It's us right now. That's who wins this game. No question about it. Both teams going at it. There's going to be goals tonight.
Yes.
But it's certainly going to be more goals.
We had a really good restorative performance against Watford on Saturday, very similar to the one we had against Spurs away before the first PSG game.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're going to go into it with a bit of momentum. We've got, as I say, another very big game happening at the weekend. But everything right now is a bit more rosy in the ground of Liverpool. Obviously, there's been a few grumbles over the last couple of weeks of us not exactly being where we'd like to be. But did you see a lot in that Watford game that will say, okay, we are getting back to where we were?
Yeah, I think it's, not everybody's been fully fit. We have had injuries. We've had to use a lot more of the depth of our squad than I think he would ordinarily, have wanted to do. And he's been talking in the press this week about getting Mo Salah back to, getting back to his best.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's firing. I don't think Firmino's quite on it yet. I think that would probably be fair, but I don't think he's far away. A big performance against Watford, a nice result tonight, and then we do them at the weekend. That's a lovely week's football, isn't it?
I tell you, I'd sign up for that all day of the week.
You'd take that all day.
Now, you mentioned Klopp's press conference, and obviously there's been quite a lot of viral interest in Klopp's interest in the particular translator from France, which cracks me up. The fact that he can be so calm in such a tense situation, I love him. But one of the things I want to focus on, what he said, is that you've got to go to Paris and you've got to have the ball. You've got to attack them. You can't sit back and just defend. You've got to play big balls football, as he says it. So taking that on board, I'm going to try and see if we can muster what we think his team's going to be.
Okay.
Because I think most of us would agree that the front three and the back five in these kind of big games pick themselves.
Yes, there's no changes there.
Yeah, so we're looking at the middle three here. Now, obviously, we've got the confidence that we know that Henderson's not going to be able to play at the weekend. So what difference does that make? So I'm going to throw some options at you, and you're going to say yay or nay.
Okay.
Who do you think will play? So let's start with the captain, Jordan Henderson. Is he in for you or is he out?
I think he's out for me. This is an important game, and he's not match fit. And after what happened at the weekend, I can't see it myself.
Really?
Yeah, I can't see it.
See, I think because he can't play at the weekend, it makes him more likely to play tonight. I think the mistake that he made, he was probably regretting it like 30 seconds after he did it. And he's the kind of guy, he knows when he's done wrong. He's big enough to own up to his mistakes. I think he'll want to go out there and put in a real performance and kind of bring his credit back in. Whether Klopp gives him the opportunity, we don't know.
He's a great professional, but I just think, he's been out for quite a while as well. It's a big game, man.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, I'm asking you to be Klopp here, so I'm not going to second guess your every move today.
Okay.
All right, next up on the list, Fabinho, someone who's very familiar to the Parc des Princes. and someone who, according to L'Equipe, PSG are going to try and enter talks with about apparently trying. I don't know. I'm not even going to continue with that because it's rubbish.
They write all kinds of nonsense.
Yes, Klopp said it's rubbish. Agent Rebecca, Fabinho's wife, has said it's rubbish, and I think it's just she's fantastic, by the way. And I think it's just another one of those situations where they're trying to cause a little bit of ruction before the game. So I'm gonna park that.
Yeah,
but let's look at Fabinho as a player in this Liverpool team against that PSG team. Are you picking him?
I don't know if he fits into what we need out of this game. I don't know if we need that, and also, well, look, we don't know what his confidence levels are like. He's been brought in for a lot of money. He hasn't been playing a lot. Has that affected him? Where is he at mentally? Where is he in the team? I mean, what do you think about Fabinho?
I mean, I can see this being the kind of game where Klopp can say, look, this is a little bit more comfortable for you. You know the ins and outs of these guys. I mean, because in central midfield in particular, it's one of those where if you're regularly battling against someone, you'll know their little quirks of what they like to do in certain situations. So that might actually help him with his confidence. I can see that. But then, obviously, we're not a charity here, we're a football team. So we're not just trying to make Fabinho feel better, we're trying to win the game.
He's on the bench.
Okay, he's on the bench. Okay, next on the list, Naby Keita.
Oh, all day long.
You're having Naby in?
All day long.
Okay, he's the first one who's actually in this team.
All day long.
That's good to know, right?
Yeah, any questions? I mean, do I need to explain any further why Naby Keita is in this team?
What are you hoping to see him do in that case?
He for me, when he's on his game, when he's at his best, when he's living up to his full potential, he is that man that we need in that space in front of the midfield. He's that link up. He's the guy that we've been looking for a very long time. When he's at his best.
And you think this is the kind of game where you can go in?
Absolutely, 100%. If he's fit and he's healthy and he's got a smile on his face all day long.
Okay, so we've got him in there.
Yeah.
We're going to see I'm trying to see where your mind's at. So
yeah, come on.
I'm going to throw in Genie.
He starts every game.
Yeah.
There's no question.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. And to be honest, I think based on what we've seen so far this season, most Reds would be hoping that he does start, and he's been in great form.
He's just brilliant, and I feel when I see his name in our starting 11, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel more confident having him on the pitch. Just that he doesn't make any mistakes, really, for me. He's and he's a really positive player. He's got a great engine on him, and he's really skillful. He's a great all-rounder for me.
Fantastic. I have to say I agree. I'm picking Genie as well all day long. So that leaves us with one more spot, and really two potential guys fighting for it.
Yep.
Shaqiri and James Milner. Who are you having? Unless you want to throw a wild card in there.
No, it's head or heart, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know what you're getting with Jimmy. You know you've got that stability. He's not, that absolute drive, an absolute, he's a captain's performance every game, whether he's got the armband or not. So that leadership and that maturity. He's played in the Champions League a lot before. Some of our players haven't perhaps played as many games. But then Shaqiri.
I mean, if we haven't started trying that yet, we bloody well need to by the way.
So it's a toss. For me, I think James Milner, Shaqiri on the bench. I think that's probably what would happen. I think.
So initial a little bit more stability, and then look to go for the throw later on.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's what a lovely option to have on the bench as well.
Yeah,
bring on the square fella coming in.
The power cube.
The power cube.
Oh no, 100%. I could get behind that team. Personally, I probably think I would find a place for Henderson, but I can see your argument there.
The comment section under this is just going to, you know what you're bringing on yourself, don't you?
Well, I'm just trying to bring a bit of balance here. That's all I'm doing. That's all
your funeral.
I know. Once again.
Tokyo Time is sponsoring Talking Reds for Wednesdays for the foreseeable future, which were made up about they're a Liverpool company. They're trying to do things differently. They're trying to do things better, a bit like the Anfield rap. And so they've set up only recently, but already got a lot of traction for kind of what they want to do. They helped us out in America. They gave us hats to wear over there, and very much needed. They were in that bacon sun next to the pitch, watching the Liverpool boys train. So yeah, since then they've come in. They've asked us about doing something a little bit more formal. So that's what we're going to do. So they're going to be sponsoring Wednesdays on the Talking Reds for the foreseeable foreseeable future. If you're into your baseball caps, you're into your street style, or you know anyone else who is, or you're looking for presents to buy for people, do check out their website. It's tokyotime.co.uk, or follow them on Instagram. They've got loads of styles, something for everyone, and the fit is really, really good. So yeah, cheers to the boys for supporting us. They're supporting us, so do try and support them, tokyotime.co.uk.
Okay, so let's talk about their team. There was, again, another report, I think from RMC, that Tuchel's might be looking to do something a bit funky for his team against us, because recently they've been playing with three at the back, which seems to have suited their own style in Ligue 1, but obviously last season in the Champions League, anytime a team came against us with three at the back, they instantly regretted it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping they go with it. But reports are that Thomas Meunier could end up being dropped. Tiro Kehrer, I think his name is, a German fullback coming in. Marquinhos playing in midfield. How do you feel about all of this?
I don't think he's making any changes defensively.
No.
I think it's a madness to make any changes defensively. You need, if you're coming up against this Liverpool side in their pomp, you know, with the movement and the freedom that we have, you need stability. You need players that have been playing together, that are comfortable, that trust each other. I don't think you change things up. I really don't. Maybe you throw on a defensive midfielder instead.
I mean,
but I don't think you.
They don't have a lot of those.
No, they really don't. They really don't. It's not their style.
No, and
yeah.
And the report I heard, they also were saying that Rabiot might end up being on the bench. Well, and the central midfield pairing would be Verratti and Marquinhos, which, if that is the case, then I'm definitely picking
There
Naby
you
Keita.
are. Yeah, he's going to have a field day with that.
Yeah, I also want to talk about something else that came out of their press conference. Gigi Buffon was talking about our front three, saying it's the best in the world right now.
I didn't hear this.
Oh yeah, it's made quite a bit of noise this morning on the Twitter sphere. Obviously, it's true, but you know, are you surprised to hear him say that? And also, do you think he's trying to talk to us, or he's trying to talk to his own forwards?
He's been in this game a long time. I mean, if you think for 1 second that he's saying anything publicly that is going to have, you know, an adverse effect on his own team, you're out of your mind. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Everything that these boys say, these kind of continental players, you know, imagine him with a long French cigarette, you know, just sort of talking about how wonderful. Yeah, exactly. You know, talking about how wonderful our team is. Don't buy it for a second, man. And our lads and our manager are not even, you know, they're not going to be listening to any of this. It's just noise.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be fully focused. So, I mean, he can say what he wants. It's very flattering if he means it, but I don't believe for a second that he does.
I'd like to think that it would have at least raised a few eyebrows in his own dressing room when I meant that they were trying to extra hard to not make him a training lad.
Yeah. He's going to get some balls pummeled at him now.
Well, hopefully that he does get a load of balls pummeled at him in the game tonight as well. Finally, it's probably talk about the setting of the group and the permutations of what this means, because that might actually determine how Jurgen Klopp approaches this game and some of those selection issues we were talking about, because it's a fine edge, this group. Everyone seems to still be in with a shout, but the fact remains, our worst case scenario in this game is better than their worst case scenario, because we lose this game, we can still qualify. They lose this game.
It's out of their hands.
It's out of their hands. And coupled with a Napoli win at Red Star, at home to Red Star, it's over. They're out.
Yeah.
So, how are you thinking that that's actually going to play into the game? How much do you think that's going to play into maybe Klopp or even Tuchel's plans?
Bearing in mind the way that both teams set up and play as a kind of benchmark anyway, you know, going for it. We all try and score goals. Neither team really set up. And the bottom line is, both teams need a win.
Yeah.
Forget anything else. Forget, you know, matches in the future. You know, forget about the group. Both teams need a win. That for me, that's it. Okay. That's all that's going to be. That's your team talk right there.
Yeah. I think as well, it's really important because obviously I was saying we are going to have an extra go at it if we don't win, but I do think it's important to approach this game as one where we can end the conversation.
Absolutely, and also that means you can take your foot off the gas a little bit against Napoli as well, you know, and we've got a big run of fixtures.
Yeah,
you know. So to have just a little bit of breathing space and be like, actually, it's okay. You know, we've got a game at home, and you know, that's a good thing. So yeah, I think both teams absolutely go for this. I don't think it changes a huge amount for either of them. They both want to win, and that's kind of the bottom line. So it's going to be an absolute cracker.
It's going to be interesting. I think one thing that it potentially might do in the latter stages of the game, if it's 15 minutes to go and we're drawing, they're going to still be attacking.
Yeah.
That attack might end up playing into our hands.
Absolutely, as it does.
Counter-attack is what we've actually been really good at, and as much as that was one of the parts of last season's success that we hadn't seen a lot of this season, we saw it against Watford.
Still capable of it. Attack us at your peril.
Yes, exactly. All right, okay, finally, I think I probably know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you for a prediction. And you can give a score if you want to, or you can just say who you think is going to, the results.
3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. I like that. I like that so much. I think I'm going to echo those things.
They get a late goal. I think they get a little consolation at the end.
Okay, I like that. I was actually thinking that it might end up going level at half time, and then we.
It's 0-0 at half time, and then we score 3 in the second half.
Of course, yeah. No, of course. What was I thinking? Yeah, I'll sign up for that.
Yeah, man, balls out of the bath on this one.
Yeah, well, that's what Klopp said. You know, balls out football. That's what we're in it for.
Big balls.
Yeah. So all of the lads who are out there and who aren't here are going to be giving you updates about the game in the pre-match build-up and all of that kind of stuff. So make sure you follow our social media channels as well as some of the guys who you may well be following already, who are already out there. Enjoy it, lads. I wish I was there, kind of. I'm trying really hard to fight the urge that I wish I was there and to be all positive.
We're having a nice time, mate.
We're having a nice time.
We're going to have a little glass of Bordeaux and a croissant together.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Okay, yeah, but we've got this weekend to look forward to. That we actually football that we can actually see. So,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
Onwards and upwards. Now, speaking of onwards and upwards, there's plenty more action coming your way over the Anfield wrap over the course of the next 24 hours or so. We've got the pink and the post-match pint. Obviously, we have those every time we have a match day. We've also got a new show coming out today, The Greatest, which I believe is another Goodman production. And I believe this week it's going to be focused on greatest Liverpool goals. Now he's going to be breaking that down into different categories, as in the personal favourites of the group, or what is just officially the best goals, or some team goals.
Nice.
So just for fun, I'm going to throw that at you. When the first goal comes to your mind,
Gerrard Cup final.
2006. It's a pretty good one, actually.
I mean, but all the goals that just spring to mind are Gerrard goals.
Really?
Yeah, Olympiacos, West Ham, trying to think of some others. Marseille, the header at Istanbul. These are all big goals.
And you know what? That's really mad because the first goal, the guy that comes to my head, are all John Barnes goals.
Really?
Yeah. So the 4-4 at Goodison.
Of course.
Against QPR, we does a little slalom and a slide. Yeah. So. And also, I was watching a programme about John Barnes last night, so that's probably why it's playing in my mind.
Yeah, that's why it's in my head. I watched that Gerrard documentary the other night, so it's fresh. What a watch that is! If you haven't seen it, man,
I can only recommend it highly. So yeah, you guys think about your favourite Liverpool goals. Put them in the comments rather than getting at me about John Henderson. And yeah, enjoy the game just like we will, and we'll see you all again.